My friends, life constantly throws questions at us. Sometimes these questions come as challenges, sometimes as criticism, and often as self-doubt whispering inside our own minds. But remember this, the way we reply to those questions shapes who we become. Not every reply is spoken with words. Many are expressed through how we carry ourselves, how we act, and how we live. When someone says, "You can't do this," you don't need to argue. Your best reply is not anger, not frustration, not silence born from fear, but confidence expressed in action. The most stunning reply you can ever give to life is to rise when you fall, to smile when it hurts, and to continue walking when the road seems endless. Confidence is not shouting, "I am the best." Confidence is whispering to yourself, "I will give my best." It's not about being perfect, but about being persistent. Think of the sun. Every morning, without asking permission, it rises. Clouds may cover it, storms may hide it, but still it shines. That's confidence. The sun doesn't need to prove itself. It simply does what it's meant to do. Your stunning reply to negativity is not to fight with the world, but to build yourself so strong, so centered, that the world cannot shake you. That's the beauty of true self-confidence. It doesn't scream, it radiates. So, when doubt knocks on your door, don't waste time debating with it. Instead, show it the results of your courage, the power of your persistence, and the brightness of your faith. That is the stunning reply that life respects and the world remembers. Life constantly questions us, my friends, not at always in the form of an exam paper or a formal interview, but in subtle ways that test our inner strength. Sometimes it comes as a challenge that shakes us from our comfort zone. Sometimes it comes as criticism from others who fail to see our potential. And often it comes in the quietest form, the voice of self-doubt within us. These questions are not meant to break us, they are meant to awaken us. When someone criticizes you and says, "You don't have what it takes," that's life asking you, do you really believe in yourself? When you face failure after giving your best, that's life questioning, will you rise again or give up? Even when you stand in front of a mirror and secretly wonder, am I enough? That was life's question. Now, the beauty of life is this: it doesn't expect us to answer these questions with words. Words are cheap. Anybody can say, "I am strong, I am capable, I am confident." But what really matters is how we respond with our actions, with our choices, and with the way we carry ourselves through difficulties. That is the reply life is waiting for. Imagine a student who struggles in mathematics. People around may laugh, saying, "This subject is not for you." The stunning reply isn't to argue or debate. The reply is seen when that student works silently, studies harder, fails, tries again, and finally passes with confidence. The grade becomes the reply. The perseverance becomes the reply. the transformation becomes the reply. In the same way, when life throws storms at you, when people doubt you, and when your own mind questions you, remember this: every step you take forward is an answer. Every time you refuse to quit, you are replying. Every time you smile in the middle of pain, you are telling life, I am still here. So yes, life will always ask you questions. That will never stop. The challenges may get harder. The critics may grow louder, and self-doubt may come back again and again. But if you choose to live with courage, with resilience, and with faith, your life itself becomes a reply. And that reply is far more powerful than anything words could ever express. The best reply is not in words, but in actions that reflect strength and courage. Think about it. When people doubt you, they don't expect silence to convince them, and they don't expect arguments to change their minds. Words rarely move doubters, but actions do. Actions speak in a language so universal that no explanation is required. When you choose to act with determination, you don't just prove others wrong, you prove yourself right. Imagine a seed buried deep in the soil. If it could speak, perhaps it would shout to the world, one day I'll be a tree, but the world wouldn't believe it. It would laugh and say, you're just a tiny seed, too small to matter. The seed doesn't argue, it doesn't complain, it doesn't justify, it simply grows. And in time, that little seed breaks through the ground, rises toward the sun, and eventually becomes a mighty tree that offers shade, fruits, and life to countless beings. That tree never argued its worth. Its existence became the reply. In our lives too, when others question our ability, the instinct is often to defend ourselves with words. But true confidence knows words are not necessary. Quiet persistence, steady growth, and visible results are the best replies. When you keep moving forward despite criticism, you show that your inner strength is greater than the noise around you. Think of an athlete who is told, you're too slow to compete. If that athlete argues, nothing changes. But if they train relentlessly, if they wake up early, push their limits, and run again and again until their speed improves, their performance itself silences every doubt. Their victory, no matter how small, becomes a reply far more powerful than anything they could have said. Even in our personal lives, there will always be people who underestimate us, who fail to recognize our worth, or who dismiss our dreams. Don't waste your energy convincing them. Use that energy to build, to grow, to take one step forward every single day. Because the quiet success that comes from consistency is a reply that no one can ignore. Remember, confidence is not displayed in loud declarations. It is revealed in calm determination. You don't need to tell the world what you're capable of. Just keep walking your path, keep doing your work, and let the results of your actions speak for you. That is the kind of reply that inspires respect, silences doubt, and builds unshakable self-confidence. Confidence is persistence, not perfection. Too often, we confuse the two. We think that unless we are flawless, unless every move we make is free from mistakes, we don't deserve to feel confident. But real confidence doesn't come from a perfect record. It comes from the courage to keep trying even when the record shows failures. Perfection is like the horizon. No matter how much you walk toward it, it keeps moving further away. If you wait until you are perfect to feel confident, you may never start anything in life. But persistence is different. Persistence is the willingness to take one more step even when you stumble, the courage to try again even after you fail, and the strength to stay in the game even when success feels far away. That persistence builds confidence step by step. Take the story of a child learning to walk. The child doesn't stand up and walk perfectly on the first attempt. They fall, they stumble, and they cry, and then they try again. Imagine if that child believed confidence comes only with perfection. They would never dare to stand after the first fall. But what do? They persist. They take one step, fall, take another step, fall again, and eventually through persistence, they learn to walk. That process is where real confidence is born. In our own lives, we must see failures as part of the journey, not the end of it. A musician who hits the wrong notes while practicing doesn't quit music. A painter who struggles to find the right shade doesn't throw away the brush. They persist, and with every attempt, their confidence grows, not because they achieved perfection, but because they refuse to stop. Think about it. Confidence is not the absence of mistakes. It is the presence of resilience. It's not the guarantee of success, but the determination to keep showing up. When you persist, you are telling yourself, I may not be perfect, but I am stronger than my setbacks. That message repeated again and again becomes the foundation of unshakable confidence. So don't wait for a flawless moment to feel good about yourself. Instead, embrace persistence. Every time you keep moving despite obstacles, you add a layer to your confidence. Every failure you overcome is a brick in the wall of your self-belief, and soon you realize that perfection was never the goal, progress was, and confidence is simply the reward of progress that never stops. Self-belief is a quiet strength. It does not need to be loud or dramatic to be real. In fact, the most powerful confidence is often invisible to the world, but deeply felt within. Many people mistake confidence for arrogance, thinking it must be shouted from the rooftops. Look at me, I can do this. But true self-belief doesn't demand attention. It works silently, like roots beneath the ground that no one sees, yet they hold the entire tree upright during storms. When you genuinely believe in yourself, you don't need to prove it to anyone else. You don't need to defend your worth, argue with critics, or constantly remind people of your abilities. That quiet strength carries you through both successes and failures. Even when you stumble, self-belief whispers, "This is temporary. I will rise again." And because you carry that calm assurance, the world starts to see it too. Think about a candle in a dark room. The candle doesn't shout, "I am bright, look at me." It simply shines, and everyone present feels its light. In the same way, self-belief doesn't need noise. It naturally radiates, touching the lives of others who witness it. And that inner calm becomes more inspiring than loud declarations ever could. History has countless examples of individuals who carried quiet confidence. They didn't seek approval, they sought growth. They didn't scream about their dreams. They worked on them silently until the results spoke. Their quiet self-belief carried them through hardships that would have crushed others. And when their achievements finally appeared, the world could not ignore them. In our personal lives, we should strive for this kind of inner strength. There will always be people who misunderstand us, who criticize us, or who try to shake our faith. But if you carry quiet self-belief, their words lose power. You don't need to fight back with noise. You simply move forward with calm determination. And with time, your journey itself becomes the reply to all doubt. And confidence that shouts can fade quickly when challenged, but confidence rooted in self-belief is unshakable. It's the difference between a wave that crashes loudly but disappears quickly, and the ocean beneath it that remains steady and vast. When you build that inner foundation of belief, you may not always make the loudest noise, but you will always stand the strongest. Like the sun, rise every day without seeking approval. The sun does not ask permission to shine. It does not wait for applause, nor does it check if the world is ready for its light. Every morning, with quiet consistency, it rises. Whether the sky is clear or clouded, whether people notice or ignore it. And in that simple act, the sun teaches us one of the most profound lessons of self-confidence. Do what you are meant to do without waiting for validation. Too often, we hesitate in life because we want others to notice us, to approve of us, or to encourage us. We delay our dreams until someone says, "Was, you can." But the truth is, the world may never give you that green signal. If the sun waited for people to acknowledge its importance, half the world would remain in darkness. Similarly, if you keep waiting for approval, parts of your life may stay unlit. There will be days when your efforts are hidden, just like the sun behind thick clouds. No one may see the work you're doing. No one may appreciate the struggles you're enduring, and no one may cheer for you. But even then, like the sun, you must continue to rise. Because clouds are temporary, they pass. And then when they do, your light will be visible again. This quiet consistency is where confidence grows. Think about it. Confidence is not about making grand gestures once in a while. It's about showing up again, even when nobody notices. It's about doing your work with sincerity, even when recognition doesn't come immediately. Over time, this persistence builds a strength within you that no external praise can replace. Look at nature. The sun does not compete with the moon, the stars, or the planets. It simply does its work. And in doing so, it becomes indispensable. That is the power of focusing on your path rather than waiting for approval. When you rise consistently, people eventually realize your value. Your presence, like the sun's, becomes impossible to ignore. So, live your life like the sun. Rise each day with renewed energy. Don't waste time waiting for permission or applause. Do what you're meant to do with sincerity, with passion, and with consistency. In the beginning, people may not notice, but just as the dawn eventually breaks through the darkest night, your light will eventually be seen. And when it is, the world will respect not just your success, but the unwavering confidence that carried you there. Negativity doesn't require an argument, but progress as proof. In life, you will always hear voices that try to discourage you. Some people will say you're not talented enough, not smart enough, or not strong enough to succeed. Others may laugh at your dreams, dismiss your goals, or predict your failure before you even begin. The instinctive response is often to defend yourself with words, to argue, or to try to convince them otherwise. But the truth is, arguing with negativities is like shouting into the wind. It drains your energy, yet it never really changes anything. What changes everything is progress. When you keep moving forward, your actions become louder than words. Every step you take toward growth, every improvement you make, every milestone you achieve, these are replies no critic can ignore. Negativity loses its power when you quietly prove it wrong, not by debating, but by demonstrating. Think of a farmer planting seeds. Imagine if the neighbors laughed and said, "These seeds will never grow. The soil is too poor. The effort is useless." If the farmer spent time arguing, the seeds would remain unattended. But if the farmer focuses on watering, nurturing, and waiting patiently, the plants eventually grow. And when the harvest comes, the crops themselves silence every voice of doubt. That is how progress becomes the most powerful reply to negativity. In your own journey, the same principle applies. Let people doubt you. Let them underestimate you. Let them even mock you. Instead of fighting with their words, pour your energy into your work. Focus on becoming better, step by step. With every new skill you master, with every small victory you earn, you build undeniable proof that your path is real and your determination is unshakable. The beauty of progress is that it is undeniable. People may debate your ideas, but they cannot deny your results. They may dismiss your dreams, but they cannot dismiss your growth. Even if they try, the evidence of your effort stands tall before them. Progress is like a lamp. It doesn't argue with darkness, it simply shines. So when negativity surrounds you, don't waste your time proving yourself with words. Instead, keep building, keep growing, keep moving forward. Let your progress speak for you, because in the end, the loudest reply to doubt is not anger, not arguments, but undeniable success built quietly over time. Confidence radiates naturally. It doesn't fight, it shines. Real confidence is not about pushing others down, proving superiority, or making noise to be noticed. It is more like light. When a lamp is lit in a dark room, it doesn't argue with the darkness or try to prove its existence. It simply glows, and its glow is enough for everyone to see. In the same way, true confidence doesn't demand attention, it quietly illuminates everything around it. Many people misunderstand confidence as arrogance or pride. They think it is about showing off, being the loudest voice in the room, or forcing others to acknowledge them. But those things are masks, not confidence. Genuine confidence is calm, steady, and consistent. It does not rely on approval because it already knows its worth, and that certainty radiates without effort. Think of a mountain. It doesn't announce its height, yet everyone who sees it is awed by its presence. Birds perch on it, rivers flow from it, travelers admire it, but the mountain itself remains silent. Its strength is self-evident. In the same way, when you carry real confidence, you don't need to convince anyone of who you are. Your presence, your actions, and your character become enough. Even in daily life, you may have met people who carry this kind of quiet assurance. They don't interrupt. They don't boost, and they don't try to dominate others. Yet, when they walk into a room, there's a calm aura around them. People feel it. Why? Because their confidence radiates from within. It is not borrowed from external achievements or praise. It is rooted in their self-belief and authenticity. This is the kind of confidence worth building. The type that doesn't need to fight to be seen, but shines naturally through how you live. It shows in the way you listen patiently, in the way you treat others with respect, in the way you stay composed when challenges arise. You don't need to shout to prove your strength. Your consistency and calm presence speak louder than any words. So remember, confidence is not noise, it is light. It does not compete, it does not argue, it does not demand. It radiates, and when you allow your confidence to shine in this natural way, you not only uplift yourself, but you also inspire others to believe in their own light. Failures are not the end, but replies in progress. When we fail, the first thought that strikes us is often, it's over, I'm not good enough, maybe I should quit. But failure is not a full stop. It is merely a comma in the long sentence of our journey. It is not the end of the story, but a pause that allows us to learn, adjust, and continue. Every failure carries a hidden message, and that message is simply, not yet. Keep going. Think of an inventor working tirelessly on a new creation. Each time the design fails, the world may laugh, critics may shake their heads, and self-doubt may whisper, "See, you're not capable." But the inventor who sees failure as part of progress continues to refine, to rebuild, to reimagine, and when success finally arrives, the world suddenly calls that person a genius. What people don't see is that the genius was hidden not in the final product, but in the persistence to treat every failure as a reply that said, "You are closer than you think." Consider a baby learning to speak. The first words are often unclear, broken, even amusing to those who listen. But no parent says, "My child failed, so maybe speaking isn't for them." They encourage, they smile, and the child keeps trying. Slowly, the words become sentences, and eventually, the child speaks fluently. Failure was never the end. It was only part of the reply in progress toward growth. In our own lives, when we fail, it is easy to feel ashamed or defeated. But if we look deeper, failure is simply a sign that we are attempting something worthwhile. If we never failed, it would mean we never tried anything beyond our comfort zone. Failure, then, is proof of courage. It shows that we dare to aim higher. And each failure leaves us with lessons we could not have learned otherwise. Those lessons are the building blocks of confidence and strength. So instead of seeing failure as an enemy, view it as a teacher. Instead of calling it the end, see it as feedback. Every setback is guiding you, shaping you, and preparing you for the success that lies ahead. Progress is not always visible in the moment, but every failure you overcome adds another brick to the foundation of your ultimate success. When you realize this, failure stops being frightening. It becomes part of your stunning reply to life. You don't quit, you rise. You don't give up, you grow. And in that growth, every failure transforms into a silent but powerful declaration. This is not the end. This is only the beginning of something greater. Your resilience is your greatest answer to doubt. Life will never be free of challenges. People will question you, circumstances will test you, and even your own mind will sometimes whisper reasons to quit. But in those very moments, it is resilience, the ability to bend without breaking, to fall and rise again, that becomes your most powerful reply. Doubt thrives when it sees weakness, but it loses its voice when it sees you rise after every fall. Think about bamboo. In a storm, when stronger trees snap and fall, the bamboo bends low to the ground. It appears weak, almost defeated. But when the storm passes, the bamboo straightens back up, tall and unbroken. Its resilience, not its size or strength, allows it to outlast the storm. In the same way, resilience in your life will often matter more than raw strength or talent. You don't have to be the strongest. You just have to be the one who refuses to stay down. There will be moments when people say, "You can't make it." They might look at your past mistakes or your current struggles and believe that you will never rise. But every time you get back up, every time you keep moving forward, despite the weight of doubt, you prove them wrong without speaking a word. That act of resilience becomes your living reply. Even history remembers not just those who succeeded once, but those who kept going despite countless failures. The most inspiring stories are not of people who had it easy, but of those who were tested, pushed to the edge, and still found the courage to continue. Their resilience silenced critics and defeated doubt and became the foundation of their greatness. In daily life, resilience doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it's as simple as waking up after a tough day and deciding to try again. Sometimes it's choosing to take one small step forward when your heart feels heavy. Resilience doesn't mean you never struggle. It means you don't let the struggle stop you. And here's the truth: resilience, confidence, more than success ever can. Success tells you, I can do it. But resilience tells you, even if I fail, I can still rise again. That belief is far more powerful because it prepares you for every challenge, not just the easy victories. So when doubt surrounds you, don't argue with it, don't run from it. Simply rise again, like bamboo after the storm. Let your resilience be your reply, because nothing silences doubt more completely than the sight of someone who refuses to quit. The most stunning reply is living a life of courage, growth, and unwavering faith. Words may inspire for a moment, but it is the life you live that becomes your truest and longest lasting reply to the world. When people see you walking boldly in the direction of your dreams, when they notice how much you've grown from your struggles, and when they witness your unshakable faith, even in times of uncertainty, they cannot deny your strength. Courage doesn't mean the absence of fear. It means moving forward despite it. Imagine standing at the edge of a river, hesitant to step in because you don't know how deep the water is. Most people stay on the shore, paralyzed by doubt. But courage is the act of stepping in, trusting that you'll learn to swim as you go. That act itself becomes a reply, not just to the people who doubted you, but to your own inner fears. Growth is another silent yet powerful reply. Growth means you are not the same person you were yesterday. It means that despite the mistakes, despite the criticism, despite the setbacks, you kept evolving. People may remember who you were in the past, but when they see who you have become, your transformation speaks louder than any defense you could have given. Growth is undeniable proof that you refuse to stay stagnant, that you chose progress over fear. And above all, unwavering faith is what carries you when courage shakes and growth feels slow. Faith is that quiet voice that whispers, keep going, something better lies ahead. Even when nothing around you seems to be improving. Faith allows you to endure the nights of uncertainty, the storms of doubt, and the loneliness of walking a path few understand. That faith doesn't need to be shouted to the world. It is seen in your consistency, in your patience, and in your refusal to give up. Together, courage, growth, and faith form the most powerful reply you can and ever give. People may criticize you, but your courage will show you are unafraid to try. They may underestimate you, but your growth will reveal how far you've come. They may doubt your dreams, but your faith will remind them that nothing can stop a heart that truly believes. So live your life in such a way that you don't need to argue with doubters. You don't need to fight with critics. And you don't need to constantly explain yourself. Let your courage, your growth, and your faith do the talking. Because in the end, the most stunning reply is not spoken, it is lived